Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Creekside Homestead, Alaska. This afternoon, we're going to be making bacon. I know what you're thinking. Where's that beautiful lady that normally is sitting in the kitchen? Well, bacon's my thing. About 95% of the time, it's going to be Karen in this kitchen making magic. There's a couple of things that I claim. Bacon's one of them. I'm not sure what the other ones are. For any of you that have never made bacon before, you're going to see how easy it is. It does take a lot of time, and most of that time is it's curing in the fridge for between 7 and 12 days. It really depends on how much you're making and how strong of the different flavors you might want. But again, if you've never made bacon before, it is simple and it's a lot more economical. And of course, you know what's going in it. This is without the skin on. It's just the way we do it. I don't really trim any of the fat. I mean, it's bacon. So just want to get started by explaining a few of the things that we put in it. Again, it's real simple. It's I use, and you could do it. There's lots of different measurements. We don't cure the bacon in order to hang it in the kitchen like our great grandparents did. We do vacuum seal and freeze it after we slice it, but it is cured, and this is mostly to flavor and in appearance. But I use 1 cup of kosher salt. You can use any kind of salt. You just have to play with the ratios, because if you use a fine salt, this is coarse. If you use a fine salt, you're going to want to use a little less, unless you like your bacon, pretty salty, and a lot of people do. And then I use 2 cups of, this is all rough measurements, about 2 cups of brown sugar. Then I use a little bit of paprika, a little bit of pepper, probably about 2 or 3 tablespoons of each. And then we do use the curing salt. There's 2 reasons for that. One is it actually will keep it from going bad as it's curing. It'll keep any kind of bugs off of it. It also preserves the color. We've done it without the curing salt, and it comes out pale gray, and that's fine. It doesn't change the flavor, but it just looks better when it keeps that pink color to it. What the amount I use is what the actual curing salt says on the bag, and that is about a teaspoon, a level teaspoon for every 5 pounds of meat. Lots of different ratios you'll see out there. I've seen people that use 2 tablespoons for 5 pounds of meat. To me, that is way too much. This is about 10 pounds total. I cut it in half because the way we do it is it's a dry brine, and then we'll put each half in a Ziploc bag, and that's Karen's job because she's really got a lot of patience. So she's able to get it in there and seal it. Anyway, so it's easy to flip. It doesn't leak. Well, most of the time it doesn't leak, and makes it very convenient. So this is what we're using. Like I said, it's about 1 cup of the kosher salt, 2 cups of the brown sugar. I don't really measure the paprika and the pepper. It's like maybe say 3 tablespoons or so of each, give or take. But again, that's mainly to taste. This is what works for us. Now, today, I'm going to be making 2 different flavors of bacon. You can leave it like this, just this brine, and that's simple. Matter of fact, one of these is only going to have that to start. And then when we go to smoke it, because we'll smoke it for a few hours after the 10-day curing process. But when you go to smoke it, you can put flavor on it then. So one of these we're going to make into a peppered bacon, and it's going to have a lot of pepper on it during the smoking phase. That's just one of the ways we like it. And the other one's going to be something a little special. I'll show you in a second. But the first thing we do is you want to score the fat cap. You don't want to go deep. This is a very sharp knife, so I have to be careful. You just want to score it so that you get all that good stuff down in the meat. It's real simple. I just use a cross pattern. It's not critical. You just don't want to cut too deep, because then when you go to slice your bacon, it looks goofy. Again, tons of ways to make bacon. The key to it, though, is, well, for us anyway, if the pork bellies are under $4 a pound, it's well worth making it yourself, because I think the cheapest bacon you could buy, and it probably gets recalled 3 times a year, is about $5 or $6 a pound. And it's not going to taste near as good. And this way you can slice it as thick as you want or as thin as you want. We like it a little thicker, but not as thick as the thick cut in the store. But you know, a bacon I'd say of the same quality is probably going to run you about $7, $8 to $10 a pound, and you're able to make it yourself a lot cheaper. I mean, the ingredients cost very little. So mixing up our dry brine here, you can use a wet brine. I believe, I've never actually done a wet brine for the bacon, but I believe it takes longer to get it cured up. My brown sugar is a little chunky, so I'm going to have to use my hands to do some of this, to crunch up those chunks. You want to mix this really good. So you'll see on the table, I have the other ingredient. We're going to make one of these, like I said, is going to be a peppered bacon, and the other one's going to be a maple bourbon bacon. I know, right? It's delicious. We've made it before. It's this particular is actually a oaked maple bourbon. We've used straight bourbon with maple syrup. This is going to be a little different this time to see how this runs. But pork loves sweet. Okay. So first order of business is our liquid. We're just going to get the good stuff on there like that. I'm going to come in with our dry brine. And don't be shy. There's a lot of meat here. So you want to make sure. Oh, that smells good. You want to make sure that you have enough. Okay, get the ends. You want to get it well covered. Okay. And then we're going to flip this bad boy over. Put some more of that maple bourbon on there. I'll save that for later. Okay. Like I said, you want to really coat it. I know some people are going to look at the Google machine and find out that you don't need this much of the dry brine for this much meat. I don't like to run out. I like to make sure there's plenty on there. Around here, we are big fans of flavor. Oh, I wish that we had smell-o-vision, because this smells delicious already. And then I can smell Karen's bread in the background over there. Makes me hungry for supper. Okay, so this other one's just going to get the brine, because later, when we're ready to smoke it, we're going to just really coat it with pepper. We try to use 2 or 3 different kinds of pepper on it. There's actually a jerky seasoning that you can get at the Sportsman's Warehouse or whatever, and it's basically it's pepper blend or 3 pepper blend. I'm not sure exactly what the name of it is, but in that kit, there's a packet of pepper in there. It's like perfect for bacon, but we don't have that this time. There we go. So we're just going to use a couple different kinds of pepper, some coarse pepper, some fine pepper. But again, it'll be real thick on there. Okay. So that's that part of it. Now I have to ask for assistance to get these in the bag, because these sausages aren't very, they don't have a lot of finesse to them. So we have to get the dainty, beautiful fingers of Miss Karen here to help me get these in the bag. So yeah. So Karen's cleaning the seal real good on the Ziploc bag. Next time we need bags, we're actually going to get the Costco, the Kirkland bags, because they they want up the Ziploc, and their bags are a gallon plus. So actually, these pieces of meat will fit in that bag a lot easier. Some people use the 2-gallon bags, and that I don't know. We have these on hand all the time, so that's what we use. But one of the things you want to do is get as much air out of the bag as possible. You'll see when we lay it on the pan, you want to keep the seal kind of up, so if it does leak a little bit, it doesn't get all over your refrigerator. We have a fridge in the garage we use for this. Dry brine will turn to liquid, you'll see. I'll show you a couple of times when I'm flipping them. The dry brine will pretty much be a liquid in a day. So yeah, you want to get as much air out as possible. Okay. Ready?
Oh man, I don't know about that one.
This is why Karen does this part. Is, well, one, I don't have the patience for it, and two, she's optimistic. So this is basically what we do. This will every day, well, when I remember, we will flip this once a day, so that the brine does get in there pretty as equal as possible. But it'll sit in the fridge for, this one's probably going to go 10 days. We'll go 10 days with this. You can go 12. We did that before, and actually that one came out really good. We had actually forgot about it for a couple of days, so it went 12 days. That one came out really good. We've had good ones come out in 7 days. This one, I'm going to bare minimum go 10. A lot of times, if you go to flip them at 10 days and it's still not firm, you want it to be kind of firm. If it's not there yet, just leave it a couple more days. I mean, it's salt, sugar, and curing agent, so nothing's going to go wrong with it. So I will see you the first time I flip them. I'll show you that process. It's super simple. And then after that, I'll show you the process of taking it out, rinsing it, peppering the one, smoking it, and then slicing it up. Okay, see you soon. Welcome back. Just took the bacon out of the refrigerator. We've been flipping it mostly every day. Sometimes I do forget, but it doesn't hurt anything. The more often you flip it, like if you do it daily, you'll get more of the flavor in the meat. Anyway, it's been in there about 10 days, as far as I can remember, 10, 11. But anyway, just took it out. The next step is to get it out of the bags, rinse it off with cold water. Now, some people like their bacon salty or saltier than others. So we don't use as much salt, and we use kosher salt, so it doesn't get quite as salty. In order to reduce the amount of saltiness, you would want to soak it in cold water for a while. A lot of times, now we've done this enough to the point where we really don't have to do that. We don't have to test it. But if you want, you can rinse it off, cut you a slice, cook it up, and taste it. And if it's too salty, soak it in cold water for, between a half hour, and it'll draw some of that saltiness out of it. Again, we won't have to do that because we're pretty used to our recipe, and the flavor is right around where we want it. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get it out of these bags, rinse it off, get it on a rack, and I'll be back. Okay, so I rinsed it off as well as you can. There's still going to be, like, if you put pepper in there like I did, there'll still be a little bit of pepper on the fat side, especially. That's okay. It's not gonna. I mean, it's a big piece of meat, so it's not gonna affect the flavor if you're looking for something different. But I did put a toothpick in the one that is the maple bourbon, just to signify which is which. Did a little bit of trimming on there. You don't have to do it. I mean, you're going to be slicing it into bacon pieces anyway, so it's not that critical. But anyway, I just rinsed it. I didn't soak it. I know for the most part what it's going to, how much saltiness it's going to have. So now it's on a rack. I guess it's a cookie baking rack, just to get air around it. I'm going to stick it in the refrigerator for overnight. That'll help dry it out a little bit. It gets a little bit of a skin on it. Supposedly that helps it take the smoke. Don't know. It's the way I've been doing it. So, and we like the amount of smoke we get on it. So this will sit in the fridge for overnight, and then we'll pull it out and put it on the smoker. See you then. Okay, welcome back. It's been roughly 24 hours. Just pulled the pork belly out of the refrigerator after it was done, drying a little bit. It's got a little bit of a sticky skin on it, which is good. I just noticed how different in color they are. This is the bourbon one, and this is the just brined one at this point. And the bourbon one does have a darker color to it. I cannot wait to dig into this guy. I think we might have to do a sample. I don't know. Yeah. But now we're going to pepper this sucker up. This is the one that's going to get the pepper. This one's going to go straight to the smoker here in a minute. Now, as far as pepper goes, whatever flips your skirt, because I'm using a coarse black pepper, which actually has some white pepper in it also, I think. A very fine black pepper, and then peppercorns to make 3 different coarseness of your pepper. Now, the key to this is there's no key to this. All you want to do is not be shy. And I mean, if you want peppered bacon, pepper your bacon. You just want to get it in there. Get it on it. Get in there. Get your pepper on there. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see the meat when you're done. It should just look like pepper. Now, put the fine on first. Maybe not a great idea, because now this wants to roll off, but hey, push it down in there. Get your pepper on there. Right? Oh, and then this one, I don't know what that is. And then you want to get some peppercorns on there. Now, do this quickly. At the same time, we don't want to miss any spots. We'll press it down in there. Okay, then run out of that pepper. Then we're gonna have to spring that again. I'm gonna start with the coarse on this side, see if it helps with that. I don't know if you can see this real good, but I mean, you want to get the pepper on there. It's peppered bacon. It's peppered bacon. You want pepper. Get it in there. Get it on it. All of it. Right? If you don't like pepper, hey, don't make peppered bacon. But if you want peppered bacon, you got to put the pepper on it. I know what you're thinking. That's a lot of pepper. But really, it's not. When you start slicing these pieces, you're going to wish you had more pepper, no matter how much you put on it. Anywho, so there she is. I am going to take that guy and this guy with me to the smoker. And I'm going to hit it again. While your bacon's sitting there, you can put more pepper on top of it. It'll start to get a little bit juicy, and it'll hold that pepper. It'll actually draw it down on there. So I'll be back in a minute. We'll be out to the smoker. Not a lot to see. I'm gonna put it on the smoker. Okay, welcome back. We're at the smoker. This will not take long. I just wanted to show you. We're gonna put this bourbon on there first. My goodness. I just wish you could smell it. I think I'm gonna go. It does not matter. I just want to let everybody know. It doesn't really matter. Fat up, fat down. We're not cooking it. It will be cooked. Just by virtue of it's not a big, thick piece of meat. But we're not cooking it so much. So it's not like that fat cap's going to do a lot. We want to keep some of that fat on there anyway. It's bacon. So then I'm going to take this peppered bacon, put her on there. Now, see, there's not quite enough room. That'll do. Now, what I'm trying to do here is we're getting it all the way to the back of the smoker, so it doesn't doesn't cook too fast. We're gonna put this on here to go about 3 hours. I'm gonna be on smoke. This is a Pit Boss. Your smoker's gonna, mileage may vary, but I'm gonna leave it on smoke. I'm hoping for about 180 degrees, ish. I'm gonna do that about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and then I might turn it up to 200 depending on how steady our temperature is, because it's like 34 degrees right now. So basically, we're going to pull this off when it reaches 150 degrees. Bacon is not a quick thing. It takes time, patience. You don't want to pull things early. If you're patient, even forget about it, it's fine. We've had some of our best bacon was when we forgot about it. But okay, see you in a little bit. Welcome back. We finally come to my favorite part of making bacon. We have smoked it. It was on the smoker for about 3.5 hours. I usually go between 170 and 200, depending. I'm trying not to cook it, but I do pull it off when it hits 150. So anyway, those were on there for about 3.5 hours. I started them low, and I think the last time I turned them up to about 200. Got to 150, pulled them off, let them rest on the counter for an hour or so, bring them up to room temperature. Then I put them in the freezer about an hour and a half to kind of get them hard. It makes it a lot easier to slice on the slicer. We like to have the nice even slices. So you can see this is what the result looks like. I'll take a couple of close-up snapshots of it so that you can see. We like our bacon just a tad thicker than the store, not as thick as maybe the thick cut bacon. But that's the process in a nutshell. It takes a lot of time. A lot of time is just, waiting around for it to be done brining. But as far as actual effort level, honestly, the slicing is the most effort or most physical effort you're going to put into it, because you're going to slice it and then we vacuum seal it in like 1 pound packages and then freeze it. Outside of that, it's a waiting game that's worth it in the end. Let me tell you, I tasted the maple bourbon. I don't even know what to tell you. It's delicious. if you ever get a chance, I would make it. Making your own bacon, way better than buying it. Take it from me or try it yourself. Doesn't take that much. Anyway, I really appreciate y'all hanging out for the video. I know in editing this is going to look very short, but trust me, it was, I think all told, it's 12 days overall. But it is worth it in the end. So thanks for watching.